Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here is part 2 on this XC Ford Cobra. It's a 1976 model and it is a Bathurst model as well. So pretty rare old beast, a brilliant piece of Australian motoring history right there. In the previous video we painted inside all the door jambs, inside the bonnet and boot, and also redid the engine bay. As you'll notice, all the prep work has been done. We got the doors back on the car so that we'd be able to mask that line out that goes right down the guts of the doors there. So as you guys probably already know, this car does have the blue stripe running the entire way down the side of the car, and also 2 stripes running right down the center of it over the bonnet, roof and boot lid. The main reason that we wanted to get the doors back on was so that we could get those lines nice and straight through the entire car, through the doors. But we spoke to the pinstriper, so we're actually going to get we got a pinstriper in to help measure and mask all of the stripes. I just thought, hey, if I've got someone there that can, is a professional at that can help out, well, then I'd be stupid not to take his help. But he said that he'd be happy that he'd be able to mask the bonnet and boot lid off the car just with the measurements, because we got a printout of the measurements and all that, and then he was just able to go off that, and all in all it looks quite good where it's up to at the moment. The next video is actually going to be flow coating, so I decided to jam all this footage into the part 2, so the next video will just be focusing on the flow coat stage, which I tell you what, come up absolutely amazing. But as far as the prep work goes on this car, we blocked it down and with 180 grit, and then we went over that with 320, and then we 500 it to finish it off, and we also 500 grit around all the edges as well. But obviously before that there was a lot of body repairs to do on it. I believe it had 2 quarter panels put on it. Don't quote me on that, but you can see the guy in the background there. He's Ricky, a guy that actually follows my videos, and he heard that I was coming back to Perth, and he said, hey mate, you should come down and do a bit of work with us, because he's a panel beater. He just said, man, I'm probably a little bit out of my depth with this car here, so it'd be great to get you down and help me out on it. So it was good for me and for him. I sort of helped him out, and I got to paint a pretty awesome old car, make a bit of that cash on the side as well. So as you can see, we've given the booth a good clean out. Some of you guys may remember from the previous video that we've been doing a bit of work on that booth, or mainly Ricky actually. It wasn't me, I didn't do much at all to the booth, but he's only really just moved into this place within the last month, so everything's sort of new to him. Even the booth, like I think previously it was just used to do like machinery and boats and stuff that really didn't have to be top quality, so there was a lot of gaps in the booth. He spent hours and hours getting all the gaps sealed up, so putting expanding foam in there and replacing and installing new filters because they were just totally old and full of dust. So yeah, he's definitely spent a lot of time at upgrading this shop, and yeah, I tell you what, you wait until you see the flow coat. For the kind of booth that it's in, we've got a very good result out of it. Look, the first time I did paint it, this time, I'll admit, there's a few bits of crap in it that did land in it. There's a few silicone spots. I mean, we can blame that on a couple of things. I'd probably say that having people in there masking with their, you know, greasy hamburgers on their fingers and stuff like that wouldn't help, you know, when we had the pinstriper in there, and even just, yeah, spending that much time around your fresh base coat isn't really ideal, but it's something that has to be done, especially on a car like this. So as you can see, I've got the blue down there, and then we gave that probably about 45 minutes. I wanted to give it as long as possible because we don't have any heat in this booth. That's another thing about these booths. Yeah, no heat in it, because in Western Australia, look, the truth is you really don't need it. Even in the coldest days in winter, it still gets up to 15 degrees during the middle of the day, and you know, you're not going to be painting at night time in a shop like this. Well, I wouldn't anyway, especially using solvent base. You know, the base coats aren't going to take too long to dry, and and we just heat our clear coats up, and yeah, we're able to get some pretty good results. So as you can see there, the pinstriper has gone around. He's marked it all out and done the fine line masking, and then it's just up to me to fill in the gaps with my paper. I'm obviously taking all precautions when I'm masking up, that there isn't any spots where the white's going to get onto the blue. Now, I've found that when you're doing this kind of thing, you're always going to get like a little bit of misty overspray, but that will just about every single time come straight off with the tack rag. I actually had Ricky in there, and I just said, because I was mixing the clear up, I said, hey man, go grab a tack rag. This is after I had the white on, and we'd unmasked it. I said, grab a tack rag and just tack rag over all those blue spots. And then he said, yeah, well, you actually don't see it until you get the tack rag onto it. But I've done this kind of thing enough times to know that, and at the end of the day, that's why he had me there. He had me there for the experience. You know, I've been spray painting for quite some time, and I know I've got a fairly good understanding of the trade, and I do know what I'm on about. Look, I've had a few people make a few mentions recently about, oh, you know, you think you're the best, and you know, oh, but I saw you got a run on this job, and he said something about John Kosmosky, and I'm like, do you seriously think that John Kosmosky has never got a run? You know, do you seriously think that, what, it makes to believe that you've never got a run? And even if you have, like, if you're not getting a run every now and then, you're not trying hard enough, man. Like, I've got a couple on, like, very small ones on this. Like, they were just sort of little dribble type things around tail light edges, and something. I wasn't getting like massive hangers down the panel or anything like that. But yeah, look, none of us are perfect. In this trade, like, it's very hard to get good quality results. But yeah, we really pushed the owner. We're like, man, this car deserves a flow coat. It really does, you know. It can be hard to convince the customer that doesn't really 100% understand what a flow coat is, because to them it's just like, well, you've already painted the car. He came in, he saw it, he's like, man, it looks totally amazing. He's so wrapped. He's had the car for like 17 years or something crazy like that, and it's yeah, it's just always sort of needed a lot of work done to it, and it's finally got to this stage, and he's like, he's so happy with it, but we know that we can get more out of it, and that the car does deserve that little bit more. So we did talk him into it, and yeah, look, as I said to Ricky, I said, man, that's probably going to be the best $1,200 he's ever spent, like, on this car anyway, you know, because as I said to him, I said, man, if you touch that car with a buff, if you can denib it, but as soon as you get a buff onto that car and start spraying greasy, oily cutters over it, man, there goes goodbye to your flow coat, because I'll flatly refuse to do it, because I'm just going to have silicone holes opening up and fish eyes, and I'm just not interested in it. So just get that guy to do the flow coat, which he did, and yeah, it was amazing to do. So we'll get into that in the next video. I might give you guys a little bit of a teaser at the end of this video for it. But as you can see, I'm just doing the masking down the sides. You might have noticed that I put a little slit of tape down that door gap, because that's obviously an area that when you're doing the white would actually want to come back out and onto the blue through that door jamb there. So I made sure I masked that out separately. And look, all in all, I was pretty happy with it. There was one or two little spots that we had a little bit of creep through coming through. Some of it was we were able to just tack rag off. There was one or two spots that I did just get my ANI R150 minigun and spotted in a little bit of blue down there, and then we just cleared over it, and job done for that day anyway. So this was actually quite a big day's work that I had here. It was probably around 10 to 12 hours. I think it was around 6 o'clock I ended up leaving, and I got there at around 8 in the morning. So yeah, around 10 hours work. So but that's, you know, I take that in my stride these days. I've been doing 12-hour days at my day job, and this has actually just been a weekender. I did spend 3 days on it though, prior to starting the job that I am at the moment. I'm at a high flow panel shop basically, and you guys would already know that from the videos that I've been uploading and the shop updates and all that, and that's been great for me. I do like to do everyday automotive refinishing. However, I do have a soft spot for doing this kind of restoration work, but for me, I don't know, doing it day in, day out and trying to make a living off of this is actually a bit harder than what it is to do. Look, the money isn't there really. Like, you might look at this job and say 10 grand or whatever it is, 15 grand all up. I don't even know, but you know, I think it was around the $10,000 mark. that was for Ricky's panel beating and the paint side of it. So as he said, he's like, man, I haven't profited out of it really. You know, he's probably got a few things for his workshop. You know, he got his compressor out of it. Yeah, he's got maybe a spray gun out of it. But you know, yeah, the amount of man hours that go in to get a job to this kind of a finish, it's a lot, you know. So yeah. Anyway, we're onto our base coat stage now. So I've obviously gone over the entire car, got it all tack ragged down. Do that 2 or 3 times because yeah, it's sort of the last thing that you can do to keep the car clean. I'm using the ANI F150 1.3mm. This is the one that Spray Guns Direct sent out recently, and you can see straight away I'm still having those air issues, you know, where I've got fluctuations. Now, I would like to say thanks to a couple of you viewers, and I was sort of onto it myself after painting this. I thought, geez, there's got to be a way of doing it, and you actually just turn the pressure down on the regulator at the wall. So we had a regulator just outside of the spray booth, and then we poked the air line in, and at that regulator, I think Ricky said he set it at 75, and yeah, we sort of just about nailed it. And when I did do the flow code, I ended up using the TE10 in a bizarre change of events that I in recent videos, even like a month or two ago, I was always saying I don't really rate the TE10. Then I gave it a shot, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a great, you know, great air cap. So it's LVLP, it gets a very fine atomization. I was able to get an absolutely killer finish out of it after the flow coat. Anyway, I did put 2 coats of base coat down on that. I did cut most of the footage out just for the sake of stopping the video from getting too long, but you guys got the idea of what was going on there. Yeah, so I wanted to get the coverage in 2 coats because I was at the point I'm thinking, geez, we might start running out. So I did put that second coat of base coat on really quite heavy to make sure I was getting 100% coverage. And as you can see, there's no blue spots showing through, so it definitely worked. I was able to get it covered in too. But I do usually, you know, put 3 coats of base coat on, but this paint was covering quite well anyway, so now you're starting to see the work of art unveiled. And yeah, this is even before putting the clear on. It's always a good moment to see. Now with that line there, you've actually got a little bit of leeway. Like that line, you can see it's not 100%. There's sort of a couple of little jig-jags, you know, zigs and zags in it that aren't 100%. But I think it was like 12mm. You've got this it's a 3M, yeah, 12mm light blue vinyl tape that goes over the top of that line. So you have sort of got a bit of a second chance. You've got, yeah, 12mm either way. And yeah, as you can see, there's a couple of little bits where we've had a bit of creep. That fine line masking tape we were using, I probably wouldn't say it was the best. It didn't even have a brand. I'm not sure of the brand, so I can't really tell you guys. But yeah, when in doubt, use 3M for that adhesive tape. 3M's always going to be the best. There are a few of their products that I'd say, yeah, maybe not the best, but yeah, a rule of thumb is 3M, you know, you get what you pay for, and they do have good quality tapes and sandpapers, and yeah, quite a wide range. Some of their polishes actually I don't really rate that highly. Their machine glaze is quite good, but I don't really like their cutting compounds. They may have came out with some new ones that are good, better, but we usually just use the Flickr these days. As you can see there, Ricky's just pointing out a couple more spots. There we go, I was able to get that one straight off, luckily. So it was around this point we whacked the kettle on and got the clear coat and the hardener sitting in a bucket of water. So that's prior to actually mixing them together. Now, when I painted this the first time, I was going for build, you know. I really just wanted a lot of clear on there. I really wanted to bury those lines, and yeah, I was sort of hoping for the flow coat, and we got it, and that's why a little bit of orange peel, like it was a thick orange peel. It wasn't like the Mazda orange peel where you hit that with a piece of Scotch Brite and you're going to go through. It was a very thick orange peel because I didn't put any reducer in it. I was just relying on the heat out of the clear to reduce it. And as you see, I'm trying to keep the pressure to 2 bar, but again, it was fluctuating a little bit. It was actually going right from when the compressor was full, it was going up to 3 bar, and then when it was about to kick in, or when it was at its lowest, it was going down to 1 bar. So quite a decent amount of fluctuation I was getting, and sort of getting that halfway through panels. So I decided to actually upload the entire first clear coat as raw footage. So I actually just uploaded that yesterday. If you'd like to go over and check out this entire clip, then jump over to my raw channel. I'll put a little annotation up in the top of the corner, and you'll be able to go and see that. But yeah, again, I've just edited this out quite heavily just to get through the video so we can get on to the next one, the flow coat stage. Yes, it's rare that we get to do it, but when we do, it's totally amazing. I did end up using 10 to 15% reducer when I did flow coat it, and that was with the TE10 as I mentioned before, but the TE20 is on there now. And this is one of my brand new guns. It's actually my favorite gun in my arsenal at the moment. It's the New Dewey's GDI Pro Light in the blue. I totally love that color, and it just about suits the car that we're doing here. It's got the blue, very similar to the blue on the car, and it's got the white pot on it. So it's also got a brand new regulator on it. That's a DeVilbiss regulator sent out from Spray Guns Direct. So big thanks to you guys, and yeah. One thing I'd like to let you guys know, any order over £70 to Spray Guns Direct will actually land you with a free gun cleaning kit. So I'm actually going to email them later on today and say, hey, send one of those cleaning kits out to me so I can actually show everyone what they'll get when they mention my name through a, So you've actually got to make sure that you do mention that I sent you. You know, not everyone's going to get that. So just accompany it with an email. So just accompany your order. You know, just send them an email. Just say, hey, Gunny sent me. I just bought so and so. They've just had their website upgraded, and they've lost one of their favorite features that enabled you to leave a message with the order, but you'll just have to send a separate email, and they'll always look after anyone that I send. And they've said that in the past. They say, yeah, like anyone that you specifically send, we do definitely look after them. Not that I don't look after other people, because they're a fairly good company from what I can tell anyway. Now, what you're seeing me do here is, god damn it, you know, you got all this effort to paint a car, and then you get a big clump of blue crap landing in the white. It's obviously blown off somewhere and landed right in the quarter panel there. So, you know, I tried to roll up that piece of tape and just hopefully pick it out, but that was unsuccessful. It ended up probably nearly making it look worse and spreading it. But yeah, as it turned out, the flow coat, I just puffed a tiny little bit of white over there, kept it very minimal. Again, I used the R150, that A&I minigun. Definitely one of the best miniguns on the market when you're talking bang for your buck, and I've had pointed a few people in the direction of that gun, and I'm yet to hear anyone turn back around and say, Gunny, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're on about, they're a crap gun, because they are a good quality gun. And same with the F-150, the one that you saw me put the base coat on with this. So now we're on to our second coat of clear. I really didn't have to wait too long in between coats. I just mixed up enough clear for the first coat, and then in between coats just mixed up the next batch of clear and kept going. Being that the clear is warm, it's obviously going to flash off quite quickly. So at a guess, I would have that clear coat sitting at around 30 degrees Celsius, which is probably perfect for a respray. If I was just doing sort of 1 or 2 panels or single panels, I'd actually happily get that clear even warmer, say up to even 50 degrees, because it's really going to reduce your flash off times. But on a respray, it would probably start drying a little bit too quick. Obviously, in the warmer months, you wouldn't bother about heating your clear up. And even if we had a heater in this booth, I probably would like to get a bit of warmth into that clear before I go and put it on. So in the past, we've even just, if you've got a heater in this booth and you're on spray cycle and you know you're going to be in there for, say, a couple of hours while you're doing your masking out and your base coat stages, you can just bring the clear coat and hardener into the booth with you before you even start putting your base coat on. And then you're going to get a bit of ambient temperature. Even if it's just a few degrees you might get out of it. I guess it's better than nothing. It's better than spraying really cold HS clear over your panel. As I say before, without the reducer in there, you've got the extra filling power. And being that it's a HS clear, yes, you've also got that extra filling power as well. Because we really did need to bury those lines. And that's another big part of the reason that we did make sure that this guy flow coated. We made sure we talked him into it, because we're like, man, you're going to see, even though you put that vinyl tape over the line, you're still going to be able to sort of see it under there, because yeah, there's a definite line that's going to be there, but now he won't have any of that, and the gloss level he's got out of it, and just gave us that second chance to, you know, puff that little bit of white over that spot on the quarter panel without either doing a dodgy little blend in or painting the roof and the other quarter panel as well. And then in doing that, you're going to have that extra build up of clear coat. I've been doing this for a long time, and short of respraying a whole car, you're always going to get a little bit of a color difference unless you get that color matched 100% and you bring that color right up edge to edge. So if you're doing blends, you're always going to get a little bit of a color difference there. But anyway, it wasn't an issue on this, and he did take the right route with it. I reckon I've just about talked enough for one video anyway, guys. I've got to get to bed. I've got another big day tomorrow. I did a 12-hour day today, and I'll leave the next 5 minutes for you guys. I did edit it down a little bit, but it'll just be raw footage. I'll just leave a bit of spraying in the spraying noise in the background. If you would like to get a bit of a sneak peek for the next video, skip up to the 26.5-minute mark, and you'll see how it looks when it's flow coated. And stay tuned for the next video where I will be doing the flow coating. Now you've seen this video, get out there and paint some shit. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye. Absolutely fucking killed it. Flow coated the XC Cobra. Have a look at that roof. It's so clean. The depth we've got out of it.